Hey everyone, hope we're all doing fine. I wanted to put some answers out there, or what I believe to be the answers for the toilet paper problems, knowing that, well, I can totally make mistakes. So if I do, make sure you ask me some questions and let me know. And I'd love challenging people, challenging my thinking. So let's try and do this. Okay, so the first part was, is it a square? And so to be a square, you have to have the same measurement. Um, for the length and the width, and we said one measurement was 4.5, and the other one was 4.25, or it was 4.5 by 4 1/5, or 4.2, 4 2/10. So with that, I don't think that you could say that's a square officially. It looks really close to a square, and growing up, I feel like we used to call them toilet paper squares. So that's kind of interesting. So I don't know if some are, probably, but this particular one isn't. And I actually turned it on its side. I tried to write that and tell you guys that before. I turned it the other way, so it doesn't, the lengthwise actually doesn't go from right to left. It goes from top to bottom if I were to roll it, the toilet paper roll. So here we go. Area of one sheet. I crossed off the total area right here because that was the total area of 30 rolls, and we'll talk about that later. So let's do this. So 4.5 by 4 1/4. Let's do this one first. So if I were to draw an area model, this is just one way. You could have done it all kinds of other different ways. Or an array, I guess we could call it too, right? 4 1/2 and 4 1/4. So I got an answer of 16 here. And then 4 times 1/4 right here, I'm going to get 4/4 or 1 whole, right? That one was 4 times 1/4 equals 4/4 equals 1 whole. And then the bottom part, this section right here, 4 times 1/2, that's 4 halves. And so that would be 4 times 1/2 equals 4 halves equals 2 wholes. And then this section right here, 1/4 times 1/2, I got 1/8. Oops, that's kind of bad. So 1/8. So if I were to add up all these, 16, 1, 2, and 1/8, let me write it all out here. Let me change colors so we can see it. 16 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1/8. This is 19. And then I just bring that 1/8 in there. 19 and 1/8 is my area. So it's inches squared. That's if I use 4 1/4 by 4.5. Okay, so let's do the other one, see if I have space for it. I do. Okay, we'll use a different color now. So the other one, if I did 4.5 times 4 1/5, 4 1/2, and we could change these to decimals. You could totally do that. There's all different ways you guys could have done these. 4 1/5, because that's what it said right here on the package. It didn't look like I measured it that way, but we'll use what they probably know what they're talking about, right? 16 here again. And then 4 times 1/5 right here is 4/5. I got to leave it like that. And then 4 times 1/2, we still have that one. That's 2. And then 1/5 times 1/2 right here. 1/5. Oops, I got to raise it up a little bit. Sorry. 1/5 times 1/2 equals 1/10. Right? 1/10. So when I add those all up, let's do that over here. 16 plus 2 plus 4/5 plus 1/10. I can add the 16 and 2, but I can't add the 4/5 and 1/10 yet, but I can change this to tenths, right? And you can pause this at any point if you're like, oh, I got this, and you can figure it out from there. Pause it at any point and finish it off, okay? That looks like a 6. I got to erase that. Tenths. So I believe this is 8/10 plus 1/10 plus 16 plus 2. So if I were to use their measurements, which I probably should really, right? 18 wholes and 9/10 inches squared, and I'm going to circle that because I got a lot going on there. So there's the 2 area numbers I came up with. Those are what I'm going to use for the future, okay? All right. Was the total length of the roll if it were rolled out the whole way? So if the whole length of it, depends on what number I used. I'll use 4 1/4 right here. So there are 221 sheets, right? We know that's per roll, 221 sheets per roll. So if each one is 4 1/4 long, I'm gonna do a little bit of extra, like quick help us work through this. You can pause and stop this. 4 1/4 times 20, 221, right? When I did my math for that, I got 939 and 1/4 inches. That is if we said it was 4 1/4 inches long. Now, if we go by the package, which, like I said before, we probably should, 4 1/5 times 221 is 928 and 1/5 inches long. So there's that one. There's that one. Okay, so by their measurements in the package, 928 and 1/5 inches long. Should we figure out how long that is in feet? Because that's just that's a really big number in inches. So if I want to convert that to feet, I'm just gonna do that real quick. 900. Oops, I'm gonna use a different color. Let's use blue. This wasn't one of the questions. There's all kinds of questions I come up with. This is so much fun. Hopefully you're able to have a little bit of fun with it and do at least one of these problems. I'm gonna use, just to save us time, I'm gonna use a calculator right over here. 928. And in my calculator, I'm gonna put, instead of putting a fraction, I'm gonna put 2/10, because 1/5 is the same as 2/10. 928.2 divided by 12. So that would be 77.35, that's a 5, feet long. That's a lot. That tells me a little more. That seems like a long ways. My wife would not let me roll it out outside. I wanted to try and do that, but then we realized I'd probably be wasting toilet paper, and that's probably not a good thing to do right now. Okay, what is the area of the entire roll? The area of the entire roll, we got to take our answers from the problem before that, right? So if we use 4 1/4, that was 19. That's 19 1/8. So if we use 4 1/4 by 4 1/2, that was 19 1/8 inches squared. Remember that? So if we use that, we're going to multiply that by 221. 221. So if I did that math, let's see how I did. That would be 4,000. We'll just draw it this way. 4,226. And I believe it's 5/8, 625.625 inches squared. That's the whole thing. Okay, we're gonna come back to that in a second. I should have put that in red, but I'll circle that in red because that's the 4 1/4. Sorry, too many colors going on. In green, I'll do what the package says. So it was 4 1/5 times 4 1/2. Oops, I started my 2 early. And that was 18 9/10. 18.9, remember? That would convert to inches squared. So if I take that and I multiply that by 221, I'm gonna run out of space down here. When I multiply that, I get 4,176.9 inches squared. The whole thing, okay? Now, I think I put it down. Yes, I put it right down here. They said it was 870 feet. And I was like, why is my number so different? Well, I did inches squared. They did feet squared. So I got to divide that by, this is weird, okay? So pause it if you think you get this. Try and figure out how many feet square that is. If I do, think about this. This is just a little sidetrack, and I got to watch my time, make sure we have enough time for all this. 12 inches is a foot, right? Well, 12 inches by 12 inches is 144 inches squared. There's 144 square inches in a square foot. Weird. So I'm going to divide this by 144 just to see if my answer is close to theirs. And when I divided that by 144, I lost my math, so I'm going to do it real quick. 4,176 and 9/10, 0.9, divided by 144. Bam. That's the wrong number that I shouldn't have got that. Oh, yes, it is right. This scared me. Okay, so I got, that's 29, basically 29 square feet per roll. So I was really worried. I was worried just again, but that's per roll. There's 30 rolls right here, 30 rolls. Okay, so I got to multiply that by 30 times 30. 870.18. So it rounds to 870 square feet, about, right? Whew. All right. That was a lot of math that I didn't expect to be happening right there. But I was scared earlier today when I got that answer. So I just kind of did a little more work. All right. That was pretty funny, right? What is the height of one roll if we ripped it each sheet separately? I was going to give you that, but you can't even tell. It's like curled up. You can't tell how tall it is. We said 20 sheets is 3/4 of an inch tall. Okay. So 221 sheets, what I noticed is, so if you take this shape right here, I'm not doing this very good. That's not very good. I'm not going to do that. So if we take one of those, and that is 3/4 of an inch, and that's 20 sheets, right? There are 11 times 11. So if I did this 11 times, all right, I'm going to erase it. No, I won't. We'll keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Plus one sheet on top. Okay? So if I did 3/4 times 11, that gave me 3/4 times 11 was 8 1/4 inches tall. Okay? But what happened was, well, then plus one sheet. Plus one sheet. However tall that was, really small. Put a little. Okay, so plus one sheet. And then, but what happened? Look what happened. Uh-oh. I don't know what happened here. I'm going to move that. Move. That was weird. Oh, see, I got a bunch of stuff. I tried doing some different stuff in here. Now I'm like panicking on the move. It's okay. We got it. So, but look at this right here. You can still see it. So this is a 6. That's 6. I did the whole sheet, the whole thing of toilet paper. The whole thing, when it got all done, was 5 3/4 inches tall. And we said it was going to be, 8 1/4. So my question for you is, like, why did that happen, right? Why did that happen? Why is it only 5 3/4? And the math said it should have been 8 1/4. And I'm pretty confident in my math. All right, so think about that. That's a good question. So why is this not 8 1/4 inches, right? So I'm going to take this, see if I can still move this. I don't know if there's time. This is me like panicking. Panic. Can you hear the panic in my voice? I'm actually not that panicked. We can work with it. The other two questions were how much for one roll and then how much for one sheet. I have a minute left, so we'll try and just set it up real quick. So one roll, it was $26.99. We won't do tax. $26.99, and it's really sad they're out of stock. Hopefully they've got more. Divided by 30. If I did that, $26.99 divided by 30, I got this, 0.8996. If I round that to money, I round it to about 90 cents per roll, right? Less than $1, that makes sense, per roll. And then if I want to figure out per sheet, I'm going to take that 90 cents and I'm going to go 90 cents, or actually I'm going to take that 0.8996 to make it even more exact, and I'm going to divide it by 221, and I got this, 0.004 0